You're peeing out pieces of your kidneys right now. Microscopic fragments of filtration membrane. Damaged proteins that should be staying in your blood. Your body is literally disintegrating from the inside, and you have no idea because kidney failure is silent until it's catastrophic. I'm Dr. Ben, and here's what nobody tells you about kidney damage. By the time you feel symptoms, by the time a doctor runs blood work and finds elevated creatinine, you've already lost 70% of function. 70% gone, irreversible. Your kidneys don't warn you, they don't ache, they don't swell, they just quietly die, one nephron at a time, while you keep doing the exact thing that's killing them. Eating sugar. Not occasionally, not at birthday parties, every single day, multiple times a day. In your coffee, your yogurt, your quote-unquote healthy granola bar. You're dosing yourself with a substance that mechanically destroys kidney tissue, and you think it's fine because you don't feel anything. That's the trap. Kidney disease doesn't hurt until it's too late. But here's what should terrify you even more. The damage isn't random, it's predictable. It follows a specific mechanical sequence. And once you understand that sequence, you'll realize that every time you eat sugar, you're choosing to accelerate it. Let me show you the anatomy of kidney destruction. Inside each kidney, you have roughly 1 million nephrons. These are microscopic filtration units. Each nephron contains a ball of capillaries called a glomerulus, wrapped in a membrane so thin it's measured in nanometers. Blood flows into the glomerulus under pressure. The membrane acts as a molecular sieve. It lets waste through. It keeps proteins, blood cells, and other large molecules in your bloodstream where they belong. This system works beautifully under normal conditions, but sugar breaks it. When you eat sugar, glucose floods your bloodstream. Your pancreas dumps insulin. Insulin signals your kidneys to retain sodium and water. Blood volume increases. Blood pressure spikes. That spike hammers the glomerular capillaries with increased hydraulic force. Over and over, meal after meal, year after year, the membranes start to stretch. The pores widen. Proteins that should stay in your blood start leaking through into your urine. This is called proteinuria, and it's the first sign that your filtration barrier is failing. But you won't know it's happening unless you specifically test for it. And most people don't test until something's obviously wrong. By then, the damage is already advanced. Now here's where it gets worse. High blood sugar doesn't just increase pressure, it chemically modifies proteins in your blood. When glucose binds to proteins, it creates molecules called advanced glycation end products. AGEs. AGEs are toxic. They accumulate in tissues, they trigger inflammation, they damage blood vessels. Inside your kidneys, AGEs attach to the glomerular membranes and cause scarring. Once scar tissue forms, that section of the nephron is dead, permanently. It doesn't regenerate. You start with 1 million nephrons. Every year of high sugar intake, you lose a few thousand. You don't notice because the remaining nephrons compensate. They work harder. They filter more blood per unit. This is called hyperfiltration. And doctors used to think it meant the kidneys were functioning well. They were wrong. Hyperfiltration is a death spiral. The remaining nephrons are overworked. They wear out faster. They die sooner. The load shifts to even fewer nephrons. The cycle accelerates. Eventually, you cross a threshold. You drop below 30% kidney function. That's stage 3 chronic kidney disease. You're now on a path toward dialysis. And the only thing that caused it was eating sugar for decades. Now let's talk about what happens when you stop. You quit sugar for 30 days. No added sugars. No hidden sources, just whole foods. Within 72 hours, your kidneys begin stabilizing. The glucose spikes stop. Insulin drops. Your kidneys stop retaining excess sodium. Water retention decreases. Blood volume normalizes. Blood pressure falls. That hydraulic pressure hammering your glomeruli every few hours, gone. For the first time in years, your filtration membranes aren't being mechanically stressed. They can start repairing. And here's the part most people don't know. Kidneys have a limited capacity for regeneration. Not full regeneration, but repair. Damaged membranes can partially heal if the assault stops. Studies show that when you reduce sugar intake, inflammation markers drop. C-reactive protein, CRP, falls, oxidative stress decreases. The inflammatory cascade that was actively scarring your kidney tissue begins to quiet down. Think of it like this. Your kidneys are a city under constant bombardment. Buildings are collapsing. Infrastructure is failing. Repair crews can't work because bombs keep falling. The moment you stop the bombardment, the crews move in. They can't rebuild what's completely destroyed, but they can stabilize what's damaged. They can prevent further collapse. That's what happens in the first week. By week 2, protein leakage in your urine starts to decrease. This is measurable. You can test for it. The membranes are healing. This isn't speculation. This is documented physiology. For some people, it's a 10 to 15 point reduction in systolic pressure. That's clinically significant. That's the difference between needing medication and not needing it. Lower blood pressure means less force against your kidney vasculature, less mechanical wear, less long-term damage. And by day 30, your kidneys are operating in a fundamentally different metabolic environment. Age production has dropped, inflammation is lower, blood pressure is controlled, protein leakage is reduced, filtration efficiency has improved. You haven't reversed decades of damage, you can't. But you've stopped the progression. And in kidney disease, stopping progression is everything. Now let's address something most people get wrong: kidney stones. Everyone blames dehydration. Everyone blames salt. Almost nobody blames sugar. But sugar is one of the primary drivers of calcium oxalate stone formation. Here's the mechanism. High sugar intake increases insulin. Insulin increases calcium excretion in your urine. When urinary calcium rises above a certain threshold, it crystallizes. It binds to oxalate or phosphate. Those crystals grow. They aggregate, they become stones. A study in the Journal of Urology tracked thousands of participants and found a direct correlation between sugar intake and kidney stone incidence. The highest sugar consumers had nearly double the risk. And once you've had one stone, your risk of recurrence jumps to 50% within 5 years. But when you quit sugar, urinary calcium decreases, the saturation point drops, crystallization becomes less likely. 30 days of no sugar could be the difference between passing a stone and not forming one in the first place. Have you dealt with kidney stones? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear how many of you didn't know sugar was involved. Now here's the part that connects everything: diabetes. Diabetic nephropathy is the leading cause of kidney failure worldwide. It's what puts people on dialysis. It's what kills kidneys, and it's entirely driven by blood sugar. It causes mesangial expansion, which is just medical terminology for scar tissue accumulating inside the filtration units. Once diabetic nephropathy progresses to stage 4 or 5, you're looking at dialysis or transplant. There's no reversal. But here's the hope. If you're pre-diabetic, if you're early type 2, if you're just someone who eats too much sugar and hasn't been diagnosed yet, you can stop this before it starts. When you quit sugar for 30 days, insulin sensitivity improves. Your pancreas doesn't have to work as hard. Your cells respond to insulin more efficiently. Blood glucose stabilizes. That alone can prevent the progression from prediabetes to diabetes. And preventing diabetes means preventing diabetic kidney disease. You're not just protecting your kidneys for a month, you're protecting them for life. Let's talk about inflammation, because this is the silent killer inside kidney tissue. High blood sugar triggers oxidative stress. Free radicals form. These reactive molecules attack cellular membranes, mitochondria, DNA. Inside your kidneys, oxidative stress inflames the glomeruli. It damages podocytes, the specialized cells that form the filtration barrier. When podocytes die, they don't regenerate. The barrier becomes leaky. Protein spills into urine. But within 30 days of quitting sugar, oxidative stress decreases. Free radical production drops. Antioxidant systems in your body, which were overwhelmed, can finally catch up. Inflammatory cytokines like interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha decrease. These are measurable biomarkers. Lower levels mean less tissue damage. Your kidneys aren't just filtering cleaner blood. They're operating in a less hostile biochemical environment. This reduction in inflammation has side effects you'll actually notice: clearer skin, better sleep, fewer headaches, more stable energy. It's proof that systemic inflammation affects everything, not just your kidneys. So can 30 days really matter? Yes, absolutely. Chronic kidney disease takes years to develop. But improvements in kidney function markers can show up in weeks. Blood pressure drops. Proteinuria decreases. Glomerular filtration rate stabilizes or even improves slightly. Inflammatory markers fall. These aren't massive changes. You're not going from stage 4 kidney disease back to normal. But if you're early, if you're still in the danger zone before diagnosis, 30 days can pull you back from the edge. And here's the brutal truth. Most people who quit sugar for 30 days don't go back. Not because they have superhuman willpower, because they feel the difference. Energy improves, cravings disappear, brain fog lifts. And when they try to reintroduce sugar, they feel how bad it actually makes them feel. Long-term studies confirm this. People who maintain low sugar diets have dramatically lower rates of chronic kidney disease, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. Your kidneys benefit for a month, but they benefit for a lifetime when sugar stays out. The occasional dessert won't destroy you, but daily sugar will. Moderation is a compromise. Elimination is protection. After 30 days, the science is clear. Your kidneys will stabilize, inflammation will drop, blood pressure will improve. Protein leakage will decrease. You won't reverse all the damage, but you'll stop making it worse. And in kidney disease, that's the difference between function and failure. If this was useful, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Your kidneys don't get a second chance. Protect them now. I'm Dr. Ben. I'll see you in the next one.